Okay. Wow. All right, yeah. Today is Monday, February 24th. This is Upper Facilities Committee meeting. I'm your chair, JP Prego. Around the table, we have Drew Bishop, our business administrator, board member Pete McCarrick, and committee member, our assistant superintendent, Dr. Farina, Ms. Flukie, board member, committee member, our new director of facilities and operations, Mike Warback. Welcome. Happy to have you here. And Melanie, our board president. Alan is here somewhere, he'll be back. So I'll start with looking for a motion to approve the minutes from January 22nd.
Second.
Okay, any comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, so we'll jump right into old business. Valley Soccer, the light installation. Anybody here?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm Mike, I'm the new field and facilities rep, Mike Travelini for Valley Soccer. I do have a copy of the proposal, if you guys need it. I don't know if you have it or not, but yeah, we're just proposing to do the install of the underground electric lines,
Right.
and then we would operate our own replaceable lights. And then we'd just be covered the cost of the installation, and that's it. The operation will be a rental fee.
So I think where we left it last time was, you were waiting for a quote from RJ.
I do have that, if that's.
Do you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. You guys have it?
we don't have that.
We have one.
Oh, you have one, I have a few more. Sorry about that.
Thank you. It's okay.
I only printed 4, I'm sorry, I didn't know how many.
Okay, so I guess the next question is then, and Alan, I'm looking to you on this one. This will be considered a gift at this point?
I assume that's what the policy would fall under.
Right.
I mean, the last time we talked about gift, we got twisted in the policy piece
Yeah,
in terms of an expectation on the other end.
so that's policy 9, no,
There's one that's gift.
7?
Under 20,000, I remember that was one of the stipulations, that our gift was under 20,000, I think.
Just trying to remember the name of the policy.
Yeah, hang on.
So this is on both of.
2, 702.
702.
Yeah.
So this is on both of the middle school soccer fields, for lack of a better term, on
Yeah.
the other side of the street from the high school, both of those fields.
Right.
So it provides underground wiring into the box that's already there, is that what it is? And then, did you say you were going to plug in lights?
Yeah, we'll have portable lights that would come in.
Because you have portable lights now, but are they gas
They're,
powered or
diesel.
diesel?
Yeah, diesel.
So.
Yeah, so I guess according to the policy, you can help me here,
Yeah,
Andrew, since you're here.
So it does, as Dr. Roach indicated, anything over 10,000 must be reviewed by the full board. So this is
This is
not,
under.
not 10,000.
1650.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
so it would be,
Are there other stipulations on there, though, that it has to be beneficial to the school? I think that was part of the hiccup before, I think, too.
correct. Well, because
Well, the last time there was some
maintenance-
sort of trade request they were looking for,
Yeah.
where it wasn't really a gift, it was a partnership or an agreement that there would be lights installed for the use of the fields without cost or without rental fee or that. type of
Right.
thing. That's not what we're talking about here, but that's what the last one was, from my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, at the discretion of the board, you have the right to refuse any gift that's offered for any reason. We're responsible for the maintenance of any gift, so.
And the pluggable lights would be brought in at the season and then brought in someplace
In the
else.
fall.
Okay. So I'm kind of looking to the committee here, since, I have some involvement with Valley Soccer. I don't want to be partial, but does that committee or any other board members have comment that are here? Peg? Go ahead.
And this is nothing against Valley Soccer, Mike and Cheryl, please know that. But sometimes I know what I say can and will be used against me, so, and I'm not saying that you would do that. I think the conversation has to involve the athletic director as well. In the event that we decide, maybe the athletic department decides to rotate fields and use that field for, let's say, football, how will that affect the use by Valley Soccer? Just hypothetically speaking, I think he's got to be part of this conversation. And then I go back to who's paying for the electric? Part of the rental fee, but our rental fees don't pay for all of the maintenance and everything else that is used by any stretch. We don't make money on rental fees. It's just to cut some of the cost.
I think in one of our previous meetings, we had, Mr. Bishop, you were getting a quote from the maintenance staff about what the cost, you thought the approximate cost was for upkeep of the field.
Yeah, it was, I have it sitting on my desk. You want me to go get it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Ms. Pennypacker, I think your comments are pertinent, because if there has been, and I know there's been a rumbling discussion about moving athletics off of the 4 or 5 campus onto the high school campus at some point with some configuration, everything like that, those fields could very well be repurposed if that was the case. You know, that field could be considered an option for middle school football, which I'm assuming a grass middle school football field may not be optimum for high-level soccer in terms of after the usage and the timing and all that type of thing. So I agree that there needs to be some additional conversations. I hate to agree to something as a district thinking that this is what it's going to be, and then if there is that conversation, it's been rumbled for a while in terms of that. I think we have some definite challenges there, baseball, softball-wise, with our current setup and structure. That's something that needs to be fleshed out before that type of commitment or agreement. I mean, if it's simply we're going to put the lights in, if we can use them, we can use them. I don't want to have any false sense of the commitment of $6,700 or whatever the number is. Knowing they're still paying the usage fee, but the field gets repurposed for something or is not, or you deem that it needs to be on a rest for a little while when no one wants to hear. But those certain fields go through cycles.
Possible.
And my understanding is that that field that's closest to the middle school is more swampy than the one that's to the upper side, so there's all of those factors to it. But I think that's an important piece, because I've been a part of, not a serious conversation, but that's been out there for a while of, transportation to the middle school and the size over there. And I know there was a couple renditions, and I talked to Mr. Herzwig and Dr. Freed, I think you were there as well, and there was some definite challenges with baseball and softball and the way that teachers are structured, and different conversations. So just, again, eyes wide open for that.
And again, no offense, and nothing against Valley Soccer, but does this open the door for other youth groups, community groups to come to the district and say, hey, we did it for them? Again, nothing against Valley. I know how great Valley Soccer is and what it's done for the soccer community in this area. I'm just, again, trying to foresee.
Okay, one of the things that I had mentioned was about cost and everything, but just to recap this, this would be digging a trench, putting in 2 posts with 120 volt outlets on them, posted 3 foot high. They're at the 4-5 center over in East Greenville now, is that correct?
No.
I thought you said 4-5 a minute ago.
Middle school.
I was
Middle
talking
school.
about
Okay.
The field between middle school and high school.
Okay, that's what I thought it was also. I got confused there. That's why I recap it. So this is going to be at the middle school, so we'd install the boats. The outlets, they'd install the outlets as a gift, and they'd be there for use.
Beyond the softball, the varsity softball field on the far side of the street of the high school, closest to the middle school. Those are the fields.
That's what I remembered also, but I got confused, I'm sorry. But this would be a gift of the installation. They would bring in their lights, they'd use them, they'd take them home. You're responsible for your own maintenance of the lights and everything, correct? Okay, but as Peggy's saying, what if somebody else, another group wants to come in and bring their lights? Then we have to worry about, maybe this has to go into a policy also if they're bringing equipment onto the field, what we can allow them to bring on. Because if you're rolling them in, depending on where they're at, you might disrupt the field, things like that. So I'm not against this, you know, I'll say that. You know, we appreciate the clubs coming and helping us out, okay? Because you've been to a number of meetings, and so have other people here, you know what our finances are and what the challenges are that we face. But before we do something, we want to make sure we're doing it in the right way so it doesn't come back and bite us in the rear end, that's all. So we might have to adjust some other policies with this when we do this, if we do this, excuse me.
I'm wondering too, what interscholastic athletic team would utilize the lights on that field? I'm just asking the question, and I don't know, and that's why I think we need to have.
Well, if other clubs will come and want to use it also, you know, suppose one of the local football teams, youth football teams wants to use it at night or something, and they want to bring in lights or something like that. You know, they had approached it a couple of years ago where, well, actually, they were doing it in Pennsburg, and they brought in lights and put them in the field behind Tosco's.
Yeah.
Some group does the diesel lights up in the front of the high school.
Football does.
Football.
Yeah, football.
Football goes up there,
Yep.
and I can see where Peg is going with, if we did it for Valley Soccer, they're going to ask to put lights up where they are too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I get where she's coming from with
Possibly,
that.
yeah. I mean, I'm just,
Because they have portable lights too, and they would be like, oh, well, Valley was allowed to put one in, why can't we put one in?
And then just making sure that the location of where they trench and position those poles, we have to make sure that they're not obstructing anything that would inhibit the use of the fields.
but my question, Keith, was what interscholastic athletic teams would use those lights at night? School teams? I'm just asking.
I believe we had that conversation, and there wasn't a group that we thought off the top that would take advantage of that.
So
Just asking.
maybe, Mike, you could recap this with Mr. Kurzweg.
Yeah.
And get his opinion again.
Absolutely.
Based on the discussions we had now and provide some feedback to the committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Figure it out.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Valley Soccer. Asbestos abatement.
So I actually just got the plans today. So I have not had much time to review them. They came in around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Barry Izette is requesting marked up, that we mark them up by Friday, and he'll pick them up. So obviously I need to get on that the remainder of this week.
So this is the bid package? Or is it?
This is the original construction document, so not the actual bid package, but the drawings, the room layout, stuff like that. We did a walkthrough with Barry Izette again to go over every single room. We pretty much went to every area to get to define their scope. They came up with a budgetary estimate as well as a fairly aggressive timeline to get all this stuff done. So I'll go over the timeline first, I guess. That probably is better. So we got the drawings today. I have till Friday to return any comments back. The documents will be available to contractors. That'll be drawings and specs on March 7th. We'll advertise on the 7th. We'll advertise on the 14th and the 17th. We'll have a pre-bid meeting on the 19th. RFIs will be due on the 21st with the thought that a final addendum, if needed, would go out on the 24th. That would mean we would have a bid opening on April 3rd and bid award at the April 10th board meeting. So like I said, it's a fairly aggressive timeline, but it has to be.
Right.
I mean, with everything, and then our internal planning for moving things and stuff like that is going to be fairly involved. So the bid estimate, like I said, this is just a budgetary estimate from the engineer. Basically $1,250,000. That includes furniture.
That's restoration.
That includes the abatement, it includes furniture replacement, and then general construction, fireproofing, electrical, and plumbing.
Okay.
And the furniture would be purchased through CoStars, everything else would be part of the bid. So I know there was talk of purchasing some of the ceiling tiles and the floor tile through CoStars. They're not suggesting that, just because we didn't have an area to store them. with everything else we need to store this summer. You know, so that'll be part of the contractor
Okay, so beyond them
to
to
purchase.
So they can
services.
figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where to hold it.
them store it on their property.
But, you know, I think there's been a lot of discussion about, you know, is this gonna be able to be done in time for school to start? You know, I made sure with Barry is that in the bid documents, it's gonna clearly state that they need to staff appropriately to get it done by the substantial completion date, which would be.
August 1st?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It'll be mid-August, but with a final completion then of that last Friday before school starts. But yeah, so they're gonna have to put that into their bid documents and make sure that they, and like I said today in our meeting, we'll know halfway through summer if we're gonna have an issue or not.
Right.
So,
What's their confidence level on having that type of timeline? Is it, it's gonna scare some
it'll be
people
the-
away, or is it gonna?
Barry Izette's confident because it'll be the requirement of the contractor.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right, but I'm just saying, like, them looking at it, do they?
The contractor's gonna not want to bid on it.
Right, are they gonna see that, and be like, no?
I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see that as an issue. And I don't think Barry Izette sees that as an issue as well.
No, I think that, I'm sorry.
No.
I think that because abatement is one
Yeah.
entity and then the restoration is a different set, they did not anticipate having trouble getting either of those. So,
Yeah. And I think he already has his feelers out for the abatement part of things, and they're working on the actual construction.
So what happens if they don't have significant headway on the project after the term, pre-term times?
It's free.
So any contract has liquidated damages. Barry Izette was actually working with our solicitor to decide what that would be per day for this job. It's gonna be a lot, well, it's gonna be a lot more than your standard project, because if they were to not hit their date, right? And we had to decide what we were doing, there's transportation, there's building rentals, there's a lot of other things involved, that'll cost the district a lot of money. So I don't know what that liquidated damage number is yet, but it sounds to me like it's gonna be pretty high, probably higher than I've ever seen.
Well, that's good, you know, that's, it's exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
But he's working with the solicitor on that, to figure out that number. So,
And if we have, well, when the contractors bring their equipment in and stuff like that, do we have sufficient staging area if they have to, you know, have?
oh yeah, we're gonna have
dumpsters,
to,
Things like that, because
Yeah.
that will probably allow them to bring in storage containers to.
yeah, and whatever we can
Seal
do,
tunnels.
and whatever we can do ahead of that start date, we'll try to do.
There's gonna have to be an area that's done.
Yeah.
At some point, like
Yeah.
there's,
I mean, the
it's
staging
not all
area,
gonna end at one day.
yeah, the staging areas would be the parking lot, especially since the building won't be occupied in the summertime.
Right.
So I have a question,
One more.
because I'm head of finance.
One more.
So if I was looking back, and it looks like it said, when we were talking about the grant, 1.266650 for the cost without the restorations. That's the cost with the restoration?
yep, that's the total cost.
That's
what
Barry
we're
Izette's
anticipating it to be?
budgetary numbers now, you know, that could go up, it could go down, once you can start getting into budget.
I feel better now.
Yeah, and the grant that I wrote, we are getting 495,979
Mhm.
of that. So that'll be, that'll take care of a chunk of that 1.2, whatever.
And we're kicking in the 750 or whatever it is. and change.
Now, for them to make substantial progress on this, obviously they have to step up. Do
Yeah.
we have any limitations on the working hours that they can perform? You know,
Um,
during the summer, can they work till 8 o'clock at night?
That's a good question. I will have to follow up with the municipality on that. And normally, the municipalities will have a permit to extend the regular hours, to even start earlier, work later.
And weekends?
Weekends,
Through with the middle school.
I was gonna say, right?
Yeah, we would just adjust our staffing to make sure someone's on site, and if it was a Friday,
I just want to make sure that they've got
that's a
all the
good,
time that they
Everything
can
covered.
use.
right.
That's a good point. Like I said, usually the municipalities will work with us
Yeah.
on that.
They did that when we got close to the 4-5 as well as the middle school to adjust that. It was a matter of going, you'll have some of your staff that won't do the summer hours, they'll do the 5 days, and then if they all
Yeah.
finish hands for a time and a half on a weekend.
Yep.
From our standpoint.
I just want to make sure that you have everything you need for them to get this project completed for us.
Yep. Like I said, we'll know halfway through the summer. I mean, if they need to start working Saturdays, Sundays, you know.
And ideally, that last
12 hours a day.
last Friday is the Friday before teachers report. That would be.
Yes.
I was, I heard
That
that.
Friday.
Yes, no,
I don't want teachers in them as they're finishing up. If that had to happen, that's one thing, but
yeah, they may be doing some punch list items,
that's right.
while the teachers are in there, but
the abatement itself
Nothing
should be done
disruptive.
early.
the abatement's first.
Right,
So, yeah, it
should be done in early July.
Yeah.
So that is really the other work.
And once we have a general contractor, we'll be able to discuss all these items in more detail with them
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
So,
Can I just ask a
Yeah.
quick question? What is the plan for, I know you hire a lot of people, like, extra people in the summer, including some kids, to do janitorial services within each of the schools. What are you going to do to protect those workers while you're removing asbestos?
They won't be in the high school.
nobody will be in the high school.
Yeah.
Nobody, you won't have any kids?
I won't even be able to access the high school.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's the only stressful part of that, you know, monitoring it. So
From the
we'll have to
outside,
rely on Barry Izett for that time
I
frame.
was gonna say, we have all these masks left over.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's move on to roofing then.
JP,
But thanks for the update.
sorry if I
Yeah.
missed this, but how will it affect graduation?
It won't.
It won't.
It won't.
No,
Okay.
graduation date will be set this Thursday. We'll set the graduation date for that date and the rain date. And no, as well as we'll be asking the board to approve the 25-26 calendar. And I'll go into a little monologue about if this has to go along, that we're shooting for that same Friday, the same Monday before Labor Day. That's what we're going to do. And if not, if we had to move it, we would move it. We would make a recommendation at the first meeting in August. If we had to move the whole us back a week or further if need be, hopefully not for that. I'm not
Hey,
really-
did you mean this year's graduation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We're hoping as people are walking out from graduation, that
The
the
bulldozer.
contractors are coming in the other
Yeah.
side.
Why waste time?
Yeah,
And Keith, remember the days when we used to start school after Labor Day?
always, yeah.
The good old days.
Good old days.
Never started before.
No.
Yeah.
And I walked uphill too.
Yeah.
3 miles.
Both lanes in the snow.
In the snow.
But moving on to the roofing, as long as I'm, what's your reminiscence of that?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So we had our bid opening last Friday for the roofing project. We had 4 bidders. According to Brian at Carlin at Sobek, all 4 were reputable. All 4 were, he's worked with in the past, so they were all good. The low bidder was Dunmore Roofing, $330,000 for the base bid. The 4th and 5th grade, if we wanted to just do that, is $313,250. If we wanted to just do the high school, it would be $12,750, and just Marlboro is $7,000. So we didn't get any savings when you combine them all together, they just broke them out, which I've seen that at other, in bids that I've done previously this year. They're not really giving any, discount for the doing it all.
Quantity,
Yeah.
for quantity discount.
Yeah. We also have an alternate. This is $26,000. It would extend the warranty of the roof at 4.5 to a 30-year warranty instead of 20 years what base bid's under. And then there's another alternate for 4.5 again to remove the copings, which are the concrete caps, and replace them with a wood style and flash them in. That was $7,500. And then they broke out all their unit pricing and whatnot. And basically that's just, if we were to get into a change order, it's all the quantities are all there. So that's the low bidder. For reference, just on the base bid, Blair Roofing was $355,500, and JM Young was $400,825. There was another Jotten Roofing at $731,000, so they were obviously the outlier. But the low, you got worried when the outlier is the low bid, you know? We were going to recommend putting this on the board agenda for Thursday's meeting, if you're okay with that.
So for all three buildings, the 4-5 Center, the high school, and Marlboro, we're gonna do it all for 330.
That's
I
the-
know we talked earlier today, you were thinking about recommending the extended warranty?
I would, because what they do is
Yeah.
the product is thicker, so it lasts, obviously it lasts longer, and you get 10 more years out of it for $26,000 compared to the,
But that's just for the 4-5 Center, right?
that is just for the 4-5 Center, yeah.
Okay.
Now, that's not something you have to do,
Right.
you know, you're still gonna get a 20-year warranty. But for that cost, I always, it's something to consider.
So these, can you tell us a little more about the concrete caps?
So that is the coping. What they would do is, they're older, they're damaged, they're not looking the best. So what they would do is they would take them off, put wood blocking in, and then flash that wood blocking in. It's just an appearance thing. It's not it's not a maintenance item. It's not a necessity.
That was which building?
4-5.
4-5.
You
So
know,
it's
and that's
something you
more of
will
a,
see or you won't see?
you'll see it, yeah. But it's just to make it look, the cap of the roof on the edges, it's just to make it look better. But it's not something like if you don't do it, you're gonna get water intruding. It's more of a
Aesthetics.
aesthetics, yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So the total cost, after all this talk, if we did this, would be
356.
Yep,
with that extended warranty.
yep. And then another 7,500 if you did.
Well, yeah, if you did the
alternate
capping, 363.
Which I was surprised to hear, because I thought the bids were going to be much higher than what the original estimates were when we originally talked,
What
which
that
was
number?
495, 248 to 571, 440. So.
So we're still well underneath what we anticipated.
Then what I shared when you decided on,
Which
what
roofs
to
we were
do
gonna do.
year over
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Roofing has been fairly competitive.
I can't believe it.
What is the shape of the 4-5 Center in for a 20-year, hate to ask this.
Well, and this is just
But I'm
for,
just-
this is just for that section of roof. So there's other sections of the roof that will need to be addressed at some point, which there is a plan out there for that. You guys approved SOBEC to continue that work year over year. I think there's, what, a 3-year plan? Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So there's definitely other areas that need to be addressed. And there was one that was there was a section that was recently done.
This is your question about the how long the building's gonna be in use.
Oh,
Right,
okay, that's
so
what
we
I
get a
figured.
30 year for.
Yeah, but this area is over the back, tech rooms.
Yep.
Is it on the gym or,
Yes.
and the gym?
Yep.
So I think whatever happens to the building, whether it's in our possession or if that happens to go elsewhere, those are areas that are going to be used, so I don't know.
And it is
Think about a
active.
homeowner, that may be a good thing
Yeah.
to have that as a part of, if it was ever to be parted from us, but.
It is actively leaking.
I agree.
It's
The-
I agree.
When I first got, the first week I was here, I was out there because there was some pretty significant leaking happening in that tech room. To where they were getting buckets, not even buckets, big brute trash cans out to collect it, so.
Melanie,
I didn't hear that.
please wait till I die before you sell that building.
Oh, come on, Peg. Am I gonna have to kill you early?
No, you're gonna take it. Stop.
I know. I'm only
You go missing, Peg.
I have a quick question. I remember when I looked at the plans, they had a whole bunch of ABCDs on the ratings of the roof. Does this cover all the Ds and Fs?
No,
They cover
All the Fs?
it covers.
Some of them.
So there are still outstanding Fs?
There's $4 million worth of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Case
This
I
was
haven't
just
said that.
taking care of the Fs.
F minuses.
Yeah.
At 4.5, so because we didn't get the grant, we had to prioritize, so the worst roof sections were 4.5, this 10 and 11. And then there was active leaking at the sections at the high school and at Marlboro. So then next year is the high school, which has the most number of Fs. But because of the other projects happening, they're not actively leaking, they're just Fs. They're at end of life and they're out of warranty. They're just like Fs. So the plan from the facilities perspective was to tackle the major projects and then the roof at the high school next year.
Okay.
So I'm okay doing the extended warranty, the capping. Might as well do that too, I think. Especially if we're under our estimates on this budget. I mean, it's a nice thing for once.
It's shocking.
Right?
That's a miracle.
So do we need a motion or agreement for that?
I'll make a motion just to cover it,
Okay.
that we do it for what JP recommended, the 450 plus the coping and the extended warranty, which takes us up to
63,
3 or
5,
something.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
So we're okay putting that on this Thursday for time-wise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So it'll probably be a more detailed motion, so that way everyone knows
You
what's
can
on.
add-
Yeah, all that stuff. yeah.
We're forwarding it on to the whole, the
Yeah,
full
full
board.
board.
to approve.
Yep.
Yes.
So word it whatever you need to.
Okay.
Please.
Just, that's all.
Okay. Wastewater project bid review.
So that one bid as well last week. We had 2 bidders. Then this one had a base bid and then 2 allowances. And the allowances are just basically for additional tube and additional plating. If the contractors were to run into an issue, that way we're not waiting on a change order. They can just, use the allowance if needed. The thought would be that hopefully it wouldn't have to and that money would come back to us. But that base bid was Worth and Company at $205,850 and Dernstein at $264,000. So Worth and Company got that bid with an allowance 1 of $2,050 and allowance 2 of $2,000. So if they were to use the total bid contracted amount, it'd be $209,900.
What was the tubing?
It's just additional tube.
No, I mean, what was the
Oh,
price? I'm sorry.
$2,050, so $2,000 or
Thank you.
$2,000.
I could have done that math.
So that one's a little more straightforward. And again, we would be asking to put that on the agenda for Thursday.
I would recommend that we do that.
Yep, I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you to Drew, thank you to Andrea, thank
Yeah.
you guys for getting this.
Yeah, thanks all of you.
He's coming like a hero.
No,
Rightfully so, but
You're right, you guys did the yeoman's work here, so thank you.
See over here,
There is a mic in team. There is a mic in team.
He's happy to do it, that's fine.
I've done the least amount of work, so I just want to make just.
That's okay, he has to take it to completion,
Right.
so if something
Yeah.
goes wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're all looking
That's
at
it.
it.
So this is the moment, this is the,
That is a very, that's a very good point.
This is
You're putting it to the
the.
test now.
Yeah.
You sucked them in.
Awesome.
Okay, any turf and track updates on that one?
not having.
All right, we'll leave it on. 4th and 5th, admin roof HVAC issue.
Yes, so that, got my notes jumbled up here.
I hate when I do that.
That was that was the issue
The
with
capped heater
the
or-
capped vent.
Yeah.
So basically it was choking out the one HVAC unit, making it unable to operate. The pricing came in for that. The vent alone is $4,131, and then the roofing, which we have to go to J.M. Young because it's still under warranty, is $2,050. So the total for that's going to be $6,181, and that's something we're going to have to do.
We have, yeah. Does that one have to go on the, I don't know if that
I
one
would
has to go on the,
I would think that'd just be a regular.
Yeah,
Right,
that's,
yeah.
Maintenance
just forward
repair.
repair.
Yep.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Which change of direction.
and
No.
buying new
No, I think that's more of just an update.
Yeah,
Okay,
FYI.
Excellent.
I mean, if you have a problem with it, you can let us know, but.
No?
Yeah.
No?
Not
We're
gonna
not
change anything.
Let him know, let him know.
Yeah, we'll let
Okay. The facility project update, so the sewer pump.
That is still 2 weeks out.
Okay. And
And they're
the
keeping,
boiler
obviously
VFD?
keeping an eye on it,
Yeah.
make sure we're,
I certainly hope so.
Let's stop talking about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
The boiler VFD?
That is complete.
And then the skating rink in the high school locker room?
Yeah, so that, our maintenance team looked at that. They're able to purchase the coil alone for $1,250 and put it in themselves. So we ordered it. It's going to take some time to get in. So I don't know, it'll probably won't be in.
Weeks or?
Yeah, it'll probably be cooling season by the time it comes in, but it's not in the area that is that, not that necessary.
Right.
But that's, to me, that's a great number. I think when I was sitting here at the last facilities committee in the public there, I think I said I would estimate $8,000. So
Yeah.
it's a smaller unit than I expected, and purchasing it and putting it in ourselves is gonna save us a ton of money.
Awesome.
So,
Do they even make a part for it?
Yeah.
Do they even make the part?
yeah.
Yeah.
It
That's the
has
original
to be,
part of the building.
it does have to be fabbed up.
Oh, but
So it's not a special, it's not a off the shelf item. It is special.
Call the Smithsonian.
Yep, exactly.
Did we have any, I know there was talk, floor damage or anything like that when this happened?
Some carpet.
The
Carpet
squares,
I don't,
Yeah.
it wasn't enough
anything
to.
major.
The air
Nothing.
purifier,
Oh, yeah.
purifier just did the big one. But Bobby should be able to get a new one from that guy, so.
Anyway.
And we will make sure next year that that does not happen. So,
It was really cold.
it was.
Yes. All right. Marlboro Pavilion request.
Hello.
2 reps here for that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Hathaway. This is Tori Wellman. We are the co-presidents of the Marlboro PTFS. Not sure if you guys remember, we came, I think it was May of last year, to approach this idea with you guys and kind of get the ball rolling with the facilities director at the time. Instead, we got the ball rolling.
Agreed, we apologize for that delay.
We spent our summer working on that. So we did identify a contractor, we got a quote, we got architectural plans drawn up in the fall. We've been fundraising this whole time, so we're basically back to say, can we move forward with this pavilion at Marlboro? Mr. Rohrbach, I sent you the PowerPoint that we had presented,
Yeah,
so you
thank
got an
you.
idea of what we were talking about, where it's going to go. If anybody had any questions, let us know.
Are you able to show that? So we can see the,
Um,
because the plans are on there too, right?
I didn't put the plans, I have a copy of
Send it back to me,
it.
Okay.
unless you have it.
yeah, I
Or
don't,
at least the location's
that
on
might be
there, right?
a quicker way to do
Yeah,
it.
just send it to me.
The architectural plan is not on there. The site plan kind of is.
As a reminder, we funded the playground at Marlboro, and over the summer, that area was completely fenced in. So now, the area right between the school and the playground is where we were thinking that we would like to place the outdoor pavilion, very close to where most of the children exit to get to the playground, so it definitely could be used for outdoor classroom space.
There's a light there in the grass, isn't
There
there? Like
is,
some-
yeah, our contractor looked at it, he thinks we could move that. It's low, so I think it would just have to go over. We walked it, we mapped it out with Mrs. Stevens, it's gonna be about a
I just
30 by
said
40 pad that gets put down, concrete pad that gets put in that spot. But only that light is in our way.
Look, I don't even know if there's any more lights like that on the property there.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not that I can think of, now that you're saying
Yeah, I'm
that.
trying to
I think it's like an old uplight.
Was it just kind of like on the
Yeah.
up part of the building?
Yeah.
Is that one of the ones that doesn't work?
Probably.
We have one of them.
No, I do
We
think
have some.
it's still
It
functional.
does work? Okay. So are you asking, I know you want to put it there, what is you got an estimate on having it done and? Are you asking for us to help fund it, or?
No, we're gonna fully fund it.
Thank you.
It's more of, this is what we'd like to do, and we'd like to start moving forward, getting permits and get construction moving if we could. So, yeah.
They're trying to follow the right process, Mel.
I know, just asking the questions too. Sometimes you just have to
No,
ask
it's
the
a good
questions.
question. Please ask us any questions. Like, we're here, we want to be transparent, we want to be partners with the district.
What's the process, Drew? Is it, are they paying directly to a contractor, or is it going through the district to be prevailing wage, or whatever the right terminology is? I don't know the answers.
I mean, it could be either.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thus far, for the permits that we paid and the architectural items that we purchased.
We haven't paid for permits yet, we haven't done that
I thought we had to pay for something.
yet. We paid your plans.
We paid for it out of our nonprofit.
And we paid directly. We contracted the architect and took care of that. If you want to skip to
Yep.
next. So that just tells you where we're thinking. Like I said, when we measured it out, it's going to be about 30 by 40. If you go to the next slide, that's where it shows.
There we go.
But this is an old image on Google Maps, so it does not have the fence, but that whole area is completely enclosed within the fence now.
And there was a question on land versus building, and there, we were able to confirm that we're not messing up any percentages. We could add an additional structure and still be okay.
The impervious surface, we should be fine.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a
I
lot
don't
of
see that as a
ground.
problem.
It is, we just didn't know where the
Yeah.
boundaries
Sure.
exactly were.
Yeah.
I don't know how many acres, I don't remember how many acres that is, but I think we have plenty of room to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna have to take down that new fence to get in there?
there is an opening.
Is it
And
all-
it's
is it
a
big enough?
double wide
It's a double wide
Okay.
opening. They
Out
can
the
get,
back, like straight out the school in the middle of the.
yeah, they can get the plow pickup truck back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to one more, it shows our
Yep.
timeline of where we are kind of now. So, this is where we stand. What to do next?
So again, is this considered a gift?
No, it's
What is this?
PTFS.
TFS, okay.
And then I think they do have a rendering on the next slide.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's,
We could hold Red Hill Band concerts.
There you go.
You have
Well,
to
rent it to
use
you
the
cheap,
facilities
babe.
with.
We'll rent it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, snap.
Yes.
I'd be open for bowling lane in there.
Yeah, yeah.
More than one.
Where's that one? Looks nice.
So I think this would be a great addition to Marlboro, so I don't know what the rest of the committee thinks on it.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Did they give you like a time frame for construction, start to finish?
Whenever we're ready to pull the trigger, as long as the crew is free at this time, because now it's been since last June,
Sure.
we originally contracted them, it should go up pretty quick. This is not, for construction terms, this is not a complicated.
Not rocket science.
days or weeks. Prefab.
2-3 weeks.
A couple weeks, the footers,
just
the
have to
concrete
pour
slab,
it
get that
and
poured, and
The
then.
foundation is the worst, yeah.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
excavation for the footers will be the biggest project.
Mhm.
But if we're gonna do a shingle roof, so that life, the lifetime of the roof will be long.
Yeah, the Amish could build it in a day, but
Right.
He talks about the wood there, because one of the other options was like the white, almost like PVC type material to cover them, but we were thinking that gets moldy, so we thought that this might be the most like low maintenance option.
Leaving the exposed wood.
Very natural.
Yeah.
okay.
Looks good.
I don't have a problem with it.
The summer, if the summer is a possibility, that Marlboro should be, with wastewater treatment and roofing, the building will be in much use, a lot of things going on. I don't know if that's too late, but I'm saying that.
No, I mean, we didn't know too with the contractor, I
Right.
think we had talked about
Yeah.
this a little last year, does the crew then, if the students were there, would that have to go through?
Yeah.
It's more complicated,
Yeah,
I know.
so as we thought summer would probably be easy.
Yeah, well, right now, we're not, with the approvals that just happened here with the roofing at Marlboro, which is more on the front, I think, of the ridge line, but as well as the wastewater with, getting that clean, the summer would be a good time. No one, no summer programs there probably at all, so.
Yeah.
Good to us.
Good.
So what's the process? I mean, you're gonna report on this, this
Third
week?
report is Thursday.
If you want a motion on the normal time, unless there's a speed issue by 2 weeks would be the March 13th to have some sort of approval. I just don't know if between Mike and Drew, if there's any other process. They're willing to follow any process, so I want to make sure that it's as clean, that it works, and that is it a gift? I mean, is that what we're, no?
PTFS.
Does there need to be a resolution?
But the district will end up taking over maintenance,
Yeah.
that type of thing, so take a look at the policy to make sure that that's, I mean, it doesn't matter either way, I don't think it's.
So we just want to plan on getting it on the March 13th agenda then?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what the recommendation is, the recommendation to move forward, we'll have to craft a general motion of whether it's accepting a gift or, motion to, work with the PTFS to do this.
What did we do with the playground?
Yeah.
Well, the playground wasn't, I don't believe it was fully funded from.
It was not,
wasn't that.
no,
So I think,
we just gave
we made a
funding
motion
in
and
conjunction.
then got forward there, and then there was a donation there, and I think we did the same with Hereford as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a donation from the PTFS.
Right.
so
Right.
just-
I don't know if they're excluded in the policy for donations, or if, I would think it would be the same thing, because we are gonna take ownership
Yeah.
of the maintenance, so we appreciate the non-mold and that piece, but, so if they're.
All right, so you'll figure out the.
Yeah, we'll get something on the March 13th.
What it needs to be,
piece.
we'll get it on March.
I'm probably, coming off of tonight, I will take this slideshow that I have, and I put it in the board update, so they'll be there for 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
So everyone will have a run at it. You'll talk about it at Thursday's meeting.
Yep.
Assuming that
Yep.
we say that's coming, and we'll give them the information. If there's any questions, we can get them answered ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to keep fundraising in the name of the pavilion before this gets on the agenda on the 13th?
Like at Book Bingo, where we're gonna have
Sure.
50/50 on Friday night.
As long as you have the
Yeah,
license.
naming license.
Different meeting.
I was gonna say that she wasn't here yet, I heard that.
Yeah, I mean.
I would just
We have our own tax ID, so we can do.
say possible pavilion, maybe. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't approve this, but I can't speak for what the entire
Yeah.
board would say.
There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5, 6 of us here.
Oh,
You could say that the committee's recommended it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing right
As
now.
long as you have no strong fast no to that, we're good.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks so
thank you.
much.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, way to stick with it.
Okay. Discussions and presentations, or security standing discussion item, anything?
I don't think there's any really updates.
Still fully staffed?
Dr. Freeman, we're still fully staffed, but I think we have, well, someone went out on medical, and the 10 to 6 guard went into the full-time, so I don't think we're back.
We're back to
Missing
missing that part-time?
12 to 6.
Okay.
We're missing that piece at the exact moment. But Mr. Blake
We had it for a while.
has been on top of that. Were you at the all hazards meeting? Any updates
Yep.
from that? I mean, it was the first.
Roddy did an excellent job, I thought. There was no updates. Yeah,
How many other police officers?
I was very impressed with. There was one from every single municipality, so there's what, 5 or 6?
Yeah.
There was a lot, there was a lot more than I expected, to be honest.
Marlboro, East Greenville,
Yeah.
State Police, and
Upper Park. Yep, and we also had Beth Sanborn from Montgomery County there. What is nice, and I think one of the takeaways from the meeting is that we showed them all of our crisis plans. They certainly have requested to be a part of our, and they have been, but even to a further extent. And we are updating things like Knox box keys now that some of our keys have been turned over, as well as we've upgraded all of our camera systems in the district. So they have the ability to have access to that in the case of an emergency. So we're just trying to make sure all of the entities. The one thing we do have to talk about is that our MOUs updates are due by the end of this year. And so Rodney started talking about that, which is going to be really important before our Safe Schools reports are due. What else? I'm missing something.
We're updating all of the emergency plans
Yeah.
for those municipalities.
It'll come in.
It's on the way home.
Yep, tomorrow.
But Rodney did do a fantastic job.
Yeah, he got a shout out
That's good
from
to
the
hear.
county too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good.
He does a very nice job.
Yes, he does.
We're lucky to have him.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
The feasibility study, the top 10 list.
The only thing I know, we shared that with Mike to kind of get his head wrapped around some of that, so I know we're
Yeah.
having some,
And his head didn't explode.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking through that. That's obviously something I need to
Immerse
update.
yourself in.
Yeah, at some point.
Okay. New business,
Is it-
the Hereford Boiler Prevention Maintenance Program.
So I don't think that, I think this is new. This isn't an existing one, like an update to an existing program, but for $3,634, Hereford's boilers and associated pumps with HT Lines, who we use currently in a bunch of the other schools, I recommend going with it. Basically, they take all the burners apart, clean them. It'll extend the life of the boilers. They also lube the pumps and check, do all their different checks and whatnot. So for for less than $4,000 a year, I think it's definitely beneficial. And like I said, it's going to extend the age of the units, and then also hopefully keep any downtime to a minimum.
Yep.
Who do we have? Does that now? We do?
I don't know if anybody is.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
don't know
thought
the
the
answer
answer
to
was
that.
gonna
Yeah.
be.
The question is, has it been done
Yeah, that's
recently?
Yeah.
And if not, I would recommend yes, that we proceed with this.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer in.
And I think all the other schools have a preventative maintenance
Yeah, we
plan.
talked about that.
So this is,
Yeah.
I think, the last one. That's another thing I need to wrap my head around at some point, is all the PMs and the programs. And, is HT Lines even the best one? I don't know, but for right now, I think we go with them, and then I'll, look at that and keeping costs down and stuff like that at a later date.
Well, this we know, HT Lyons knows the middle school,
Yeah.
because they did all of it, and
And we get preferred pricing and service as well.
both discounts.
So if the boiler goes down, they should come to us before anyone else.
And this came about as we had an issue there and they were called, or they were doing work somewhere else and they said, oh, you got this other building, we should do this for you?
Drew, you were kind of manning that one. Was it just, I think it was just the maintenance team?
Phil said, this is the only one that we did not have anything on
Yeah.
at this time, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is another one that I did very little work
Thank you, Phil.
and reporting out, so pretty much all this is them, not me.
All good.
Okay,
As long as it's all happening, we're good.
yep, let's do it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And then next meeting, an initial draft of a 5-year athletic facilities plan.
Yeah, I'm working on that with Mr. Kurzweig and a couple other admin to kind of get a frame out of looking at what, as many of the projects are updates and things. The turf is obviously included in those, and
Yep.
what that kind of would look like. And then similar to the roofing, how you guys move this to move that, and get it into a year that's manageable financially wise and that type of thing. At least take a look at it. And that's down to even some areas of replacement of soccer goals, replacement of, we talked about pieces and make sure the pool is included in that project as well, the things that have been in the feasibility study. At a whopping, what was that, 1.6, yeah, for pool.
That's right, I forgot that was that big.
So just sharing that that's on the radar. It's probably more for me to make sure that I get it done, putting it out there that it's gonna be there.
Note to self.
Yeah. But no, I want to make sure that, we're working on that and trying to look at, and as a draft, and then see what is, if there's something that's not on there, where it would slide on there. But fencing and other fields and stuff like that.
Okay, that'll be nice to see. All right. Any public comment? Good. Committee members?
No?
No? No?
And we'll be here next time.
Oh,
I'll be in San Antonio.
Quick meeting.
yeah. Blow through that one.
Hey.
All right, then I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Grab that.
Good job.
Patient.